This podcast contains strong language and discussions about relationships, sex, and love. It may not be suitable for younger listeners. This is the Sex in Singapore City podcast, and I am Nixalina. Hello, it's Nixalina, and welcome back to my podcast. I cannot believe we are kicking off season 5. Everyone, you've been with me through 4 seasons. We're like batting out about 20 eps roughly a season. I mean, this is incredible. I never thought I'd get here. So firstly, thank you to everyone. And secondly, we need to talk about Kayne West, now known as Ye. Yes, we need to fucking talk about Kanye. Okay? This episode is dedicated to that man, and not in a positive way. Okay, let me start. I don't really do podcasts before on current affairs like this, but this one has triggered me and pissed me off so much that I was like, fuck, we've got to address this. This is just insane. So, and also, like, I don't really, vibe the dude in general, so I kind of didn't want my podcast associated with his name, but, like, no choice because, we got to talk about it. So, in case you haven't kept up with what is going on between him and Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson, basically, Kanye and Kim's marriage, for their own reasons, fell apart. Right? We all knew that. Filed for divorce. He clearly doesn't want to get a divorce. And even though he's had a string of women by his side, notably Julia Fox, and now a new girl who's a Kim K lookalike, Chaney Jane. I just can't. Even though all that's going on, he's been publicly begging for Kim to take him back, using the family angle. He's been a dick, right? So that's the basic crux of what's going on. In that, even though he's been with other people, Kim has now met and become girlfriend and boyfriend, I think it's fair to say, with Pete Davidson. Kanye does not like this fact. He does not. And what he's done is he's gone fucking balls out in making it clear he doesn't like it. So why do I want to talk about Kanye? Okay, firstly, airing his dirty laundry on social media. If you go on his Instagram, every different day is a different post. The other post would have been deleted, then there's a new post. And he has done some fucking horrible shit on there. He has shared private text messages from Pete himself to him. The message was basically, look, never going to come between you and your family and how you raise your kids. Very respectful, lovely text from, a future partner of your ex-wife you will try and, harmoniously co-parent with. I didn't like that. He shared private text messages from Kim, basically very scared, saying she fears for Pete now, and this is getting dangerous. He shared photos of Pete himself to his actual Instagram, like basically took the piss out of, what he looked like, saying he was a photo of him and Machine Gun Kelly, and Kanye's quotes like, "You'll never meet my children," in caps lock, because it's, caps lock is his fucking vibe. So he's using Instagram as a tool to publicly drag Pete Davidson's name through the mud, to churry up his loyal followers against Pete, to then simultaneously harass Kim, and it is harassment, online to try and get her to come back, to then play the victim. He does that as well. And every day feels like it's a different dialogue. Well, you don't know which Kanye you're going to get. And basically just being a cunt, putting it mildly. So for me, number one, airing all your own shit on social is like, what are you doing? I understand when people are brokenhearted and people are going through a lot at home, and trust me, I've been there. It's so difficult not to bring that to your online presence. But he's not doing it just to express his sadness or express his own grief. He is viciously attacking, and now it's bullying level of Kim's new boyfriend because Kim has a new boyfriend. Like, there's nothing else to Pete Davidson apart from the fact he's now with his wife, and ex-wife, should I say, because she's now been legally termed single. But that alone bothers me. So many comments on each of his photos before they get deleted, because they all get deleted. People were like, bro, sort your shit out in private. Like, this is not cool. Even sharing personal texts like that. You will never go through my social or my podcast and ever catch the name of my ex-partner, my narcissistic ex. You know, you won't. You won't know his Instagram handle. You won't know, like, I've never, ever shared his text messages, and he put me through emotional hell. Kim seemingly, and of course we're all speculating here, doesn't seem to be saying much except, please stop this because it's now dangerous, which any mother and partner of Pete, you know, she's trying to protect her unit, right? So that one alone bothers me. Like, who do you think you are calling people out to it? Then the next part is calling Pete Skeet. Am I saying that right, guys? Skeet. He's created a derogatory name, is what he's done. Not only has he done that, he then boasted about it on his Insta to basically say, I ran Pete off Insta, go and tell your mother that I've changed your name forever. And I was just like, what a load of fucking arrogant, narcissistic bullshit fucking post. So rather than being a little bit regretful that you've attacked someone so much with no warrant, you've attacked someone so much that he's actually just took down his new Instagram hours after he launched it because your fans are saying fine God and writing these messages and calling him Skeet on his profile. And you are so proud of that you want to post that to your tile and have something really awful about going and tell your mother. Bearing in mind, we all know Pete's backstory. His father was, you know, sadly passed away when he was young. And like, who the fuck does Kanye think he is? Oh, I know who he thinks he is. He thinks he's fucking Kanye and he can do what he wants, say what he wants and be the way he wants. And it's all good because he is, quote, a genius, unquote. No, he fucking isn't. So all of that attack on Pete is fucking vile. On top of that, he's actually harassing his ex-wife. He's sending truckloads of roses to her on Valentine's Day, even though she's made it very clear that the marriage is over. He's posting photos of her and her children. Caption, God, please bring my family back. Like, just complete public harassment against her wishes. He's also dating women. You hear the big sigh? It's not because I forgot what I was going to say. I just can't even with this guy. He's dating other women. Julia Fox was fucking humiliated, and I don't care what she says about how fucking, you know, she knew what was going on. You know, she didn't. She went to podcast Call Her Daddy. They had this really cool interview, and she said, yeah, I'm Kanye's muse. Yeah, I'm his new muse. We call each other boyfriend and girlfriend, and, you know, I respect that he's got residual feelings for his ex, but yeah, like, we're together, right? So she does this. Hours later, he's fucking on Instagram posting photos of Kim, begging for his family to get back together. How embarrassing. Like, she must have seen that and just wanted to bury her head in a hole. She's fucking going on a globally recognized podcast to say how she's Kanye's girlfriend and that's all cool, only for him to be begging for his wife back on social. Like, I feel fucking sorry for her. Maybe she knew that it was all like a staged relationship and maybe she was just after what she could get out of it. But if you're going to stage a relationship, if you're going to say to her, hey, shove our relationship in, the press as much as possible. At least give her the heads up so she doesn't sit on a fucking podcast and say, hey, I'm his girlfriend. And you're like, no, bitch, I'm going to beg for my family back now on Insta because I give no fucks about you or anyone else but myself. Ugh. And then within like a week, I don't know, how long was it? Did he have any, time for therapy? Nah, within like a week, he's now dating someone else. So Julia Fox, bye. And she looks exactly like Kim Kardashian. That's another one I've got such problems with. The last thing I would ever want to look like is my partner's ex-partner. Like, I would do everything I can to look the exact opposite. I just don't understand the mindset. And her, is she now a publicity stunt? Is she the new Julia Fox? Is this going to last 6 weeks and end because then he's going to put more stuff about divorce on his Insta? And how can she see all of these posts and see everything he's been doing for the past month and still be like, yeah, he's my boo. I'm with him now. What? Are you, what? Fucking hell, man. Like, human beings never cease to amaze me. Clearly, darling, he's still obsessively in love with Kim. He cannot have her because she's not interested anymore. So now he's dating you, looks like absolutely identical, and you don't see a problem with it. You think this is normal. It ain't normal. None of this, everyone, is normal. Or how you should behave towards a breakdown of a relationship. And even in the last week, he posted it up a notch, and he's posted photos of a church on fire, and he's posted his new cool music video for Easy, which simulates him kidnapping and burying alive Pete Davidson. Burying alive, right? What? Yeah. The song, the lyrics even say God brought him back from the car crash so he could kick Pete Davidson's ass. So that's a threat. He actually names and shames him in his song. He then creates a music video with clearly a puppet like Pete Davidson that he buries. He kidnaps and buries and pours roses on his head. And then at the end, he says everyone lives happily ever after, but not Skeet, you know who. So, he's even once again alluded to Pete. This is all direct, targeted harassment. He's then posting a church on fire to his Instagram, claiming, it's art. You can't allude to any ill or harm with art. What load of fucking shit? Yes, you can. If I come on my podcast, right, and I was like, yo, calling out my ex by his name, I'm going to come and find you. I'm going to deal with you myself. I want all of my followers, if they see me. If I did that, I would expect to be cancelled. Also, I just wouldn't fucking do it. I would not do it. The majority of us have been heartbroken at one point in our lives. If you haven't, then kudos to you because it's painful. It's absolutely painful. But what Kanye is not recognizing is the reason that his marriage failed is no one else's fault but the two people in the marriage. And by all accounts, I think he was living in a different state for ages, and Kim was like completely isolated. She just felt like she was left on her own. I don't know what the fuck was going on, because by this point, I wasn't actually even interested in him at all. But what I will say is the way Kim has dealt with this, she has my utmost respect, because the kind of onslaught that he's been doing, I can't even imagine the texts and calls and hanging outside the house that's probably going on. She's dealt with it with so much dignity. And Pete, like, fucking hell, I don't know how you guys kept your mouth shut, because it's so triggering. And you almost just want to be like, what the fuck is your problem? And like, stand up to this bully. Kanye West is now a bully. And yet they can't, because, I understand what the silence in things like this is actually often the best response. And I'm just kudos to them for doing it with exactly the right way. But it's so hard. I just don't know how they've managed to remain quiet and and, you know, in their bubble of love, which is just fantastic. But back to Kanye. Look, he needs help. His behaviour has not been okay. And I see all of the hordes of his fans saying, he's a genius, he's a genius. His musical talent and creative talent aside, right? Because that is something completely separate to his personality, his behaviour and his attitude towards his wife and his family and other women. And the way I see it now is that he views women as possessions. I feel like when he does this whole, I'm going to, you know, buy out your whole wardrobe, redress you. I'm so cool. I'm so talented. Let me dress you. Yes, he does have a style. Not going to take that away from him. But it's almost like he sees these women as like the blank canvas of Kanye. Julia Fox was a canvas of Kanye. His new one is a canvas. He doesn't see them as women. He doesn't see them as human beings because he doesn't treat them with any respect as you would another human being. It was like Julia Fox was, you know, his new muse, as she said it, and the next thing is she didn't even exist and it was all about his family. He didn't give a shit about the impact this would have on her life or her feelings. I just feel now he's a bad role model for his fans and his own children. And I feel that he's using the fame and the money aspect as a tool to do what the fuck he wants. And he also plays on his bipolar mental disorder as like a get out of jail free card. It's not okay. And I don't give a shit if you delete every Instagram you've ever posted. It's there. It will be on internet forever. Your kids will see that. It's just, he's just spiteful. And people are still backing his behaviour. Thank God the majority of the comments left is really negative towards him now. But there are still people like, it's art, it's genius. They think it's funny about Pete Davidson. Like, he has done so many harassment threats that I think Pete Davidson should get out a harassment warrant. And I'm sure he has enough evidence to do that. But then, if he's, you know, with Kim all the time, and that would be an issue with the kids and stuff, with harassment warrant on Kanye, and it just gets messy. But Kanye's brought this all on himself. And I fucking hate it when people who have failed marriages blame the other person, the third person. I was in the same scenario. My ex's wife blamed me rather than the fact that my ex had cheated on her twice. Like, my ex was a scumbag. He broke that marriage by cheating on her twice before we even met with two different women. He's the problem. But yet I got the full brunt of the hate and the anger. And I got messages from her cousin telling me I'm an oxygen thief and they hope I go to Singapore and catch a disease and die. Yep. Direct message. It's like, what, you know... Stop looking externally and look in the fucking mirror. The people that broke the marriage are the two people in the marriage. Pete is not in the marriage. He was not on the scene. And to be so flippant with how you talk about another human being, how you treat them online, and to go as far as thinking you are untouchable, that you can create a music video that disturbing, it just blows my mind. It is so disturbing. I felt uncomfortable trying to get through the end of it. And I wanted to watch it because I wanted to make sure that, you know, I wasn't given any misinformation. And it's disgusting. It's vile. And it concerns me that people still hero Kanye West and still think he's a genius and declare him like, you know, like godlike. He has so many, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, so many disorders beyond, like, there's a bipolar disorder there, which obviously he's been outspoken about, but there's like a narcissistic level here as well. He, like, cluster B personality disorders, which I will do a full podcast on, because I know a lot of you do message me about that, and you go like, "What's beyond narcissism?" But he's on a spectrum of a lot of his stuff because the way he is carrying on. So I just want to say very clearly, it is not okay. It is not okay to bully and harass anyone else online the way he has done. It is not okay to create music videos that directly attack someone like that. It is not okay to harass your ex-partner or, beg for them back online. It is not okay to boast about running someone off social media and being proud of being a bully. And it is not okay to do this and be a father to beautiful children because you're supposed to be a role model and setting an example. And it is not okay to just date women on repeat for attention and get rid of them when there's someone else or when you realise you just want your ex-wife back. Like, can you imagine if Kim Kardashian was doing this kind of bullying to Julia Fox when he was with her? Like, imagine how much Kim would have been dragged through the mud if she'd done the same. And yet with Kanye, apparently it's fine. Just delete your tile, move on. It's scary. So yes, please, everyone who supports him, take a step back and understand that you are able to be, very musically talented and you're able to be a good rapper or a good singer and you're able to be a good fashion designer, whatever it is, celebrities are in the public eye for, but not be a good fucking person. And I don't think for one moment there's a shred of decency in that man. That's just my personal opinion. I hope to God it changes and and I'm proven wrong. And I hope this is just an episode. But I'm sorry I had to talk about him because you do not fucking do that on social media. And it's just degrading the whole social space into something disgusting. And while he's doing it, he's allowing his fans to think it's okay. And these kids who will be in schools, who will be bullying other kids, who will be doing the same on their Instagram and picking on someone, not okay. And that is the end of my rant. Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to the Sex and Singapore City podcast. This episode was produced and hosted by me, Nick Selena, and recorded at the Splicecast studio in Singapore. I'm available to listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, and all major podcast listening apps. Do subscribe to enjoy a new episode every Monday evening. Please do give me a 5-star review. It helps other people also find my podcast. For more awesome content and features to read, you can check out my website, sexandsingaporecity.com. That's sexandsingaporecity.com. I'm also on social media. Simply search at Nick Selena, Nixalina, to find me. Don't be shy. Come say hi.